everyone, I am Austin Frangoules, your host of Totally Transparent, and here I've got my co-host today, Paul Dadaian. Paul is actually one of my real estate agents, but not just that, he's actually one of the top producers of the company. So thank you, Paul, for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Paul brings a lot of unique, special characteristics, which I love to the company. He's got a huge background with construction, which a lot of real estate agents don't have. They don't know the mechanical side of the house like Paul does because he's got this construction background. So, Paul, tell me a little bit about your background with construction, where you started, and where you are today.
Yeah, so it's been a fun journey. First off, so shout out to anyone that's helped me along the way. But starting from the ground up is kind of how I took my approach. I got a job working for a Class A contractor right out of college. So I did a year in college, and then I decided to work for a contractor. Not really decided. It was supposed to be, in my mind, like a real estate apprenticeship, but it turned into manual labor, which nice. in the long run was a very positive thing for me.
Yeah.
But initially it sucked. And so one thing I learned about manual labor is nobody really likes to do it. And since nobody likes to do it, it's a very neglected field. Not a lot of people know about the mechanics of a home, like you were saying. What goes into building it, what materials are good, what materials are bad, what systems fail, lifetime expectancy on things, and then the biggest factor is the cost of repair. So I learned a lot. I worked for the Class A contractor for 4.5, almost 5 years. And through my time there, I went from being a laborer to a shopper to a foreman, and then I ended at a project manager, which was a great position because he was doing a lot of real estate investing, which gave me the behind the curtain look at everything that was going on. And so I got to see how the house was bought, what the condition was, what it took to get to market, and what people were looking for when they were selling. And then the big X factor for you home buyers out there is the PICRA and the home inspection. And I got to deal with that firsthand. And not that the person that I was working for was taking advantage of his buyers, but you could obviously tell the sellers, knew more. He knew more than the buyer's agent did, and that really did a lot of damage, at least from a buyer's perspective, to the contract and to the value of the home. So I think that's really just something that people neglect and just depend a lot on the home inspector for, which isn't always good.
Now, with the home inspections, there's always problems showing up, and I know some flippers, I guess that's what you would call them, right? Is a house flipper?
Well, real estate investors.
Investor, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Investors.
So what are some common red flags that you would see when you're showing houses compared to these real estate investors on what they leave or what they skip?
Right. So I don't want to put all real estate investors into a big box and say, hey, everything that's bought as an investment and resold is a bad house. Because a majority of my clients actually like those properties. They're turnkey. They do have a fresh start per se, instead of, a lot of times people can't afford new construction, but you don't necessarily want to go in and purchase a house, pay that big upfront cost, and then start shelling out thousand after thousand after thousand. So these flippers do fit, they do fill a void, and the products aren't always bad. Now, one of the big things that is a quick red flag for me when looking at a property that's been renovated recently is just the year of the home that's built. I always tell my clients this: if you can avoid buying a renovated property under 1980, if it was built before 1980, you're always going to have a little bit more of a smoother transaction.
Now, why specifically 1980 though?
Yeah, so I say 1980 for a lot of different reasons. Just most biggest box that I can put it into is just common building materials that were used prior to 1980. Now, a lot of times these renovations take place and people completely gut the plumbing system, or they completely gut the electrical system. But a lot of times they don't, and they really just put new outlets on it, or they cut it at the ground and stub out.
So it looks pretty on the outside,
yeah,
but
yeah.
The inside you can't see.
Absolutely,
and that's the hard part.
And exactly, and you can't expect a home inspector to cut open your drywall.
No, they shouldn't anyway.
Yeah, and you don't own the house,
right?
And they don't own the house either, obviously. Yeah. So just one of the big things that I can say is avoid homes prior to 1980. Again, I don't want to say that they're bad, but it's just a quick, if you're going to look for an easy, smooth sailing transaction where you're not going to have a lot of problems down the road, 1980 is a good number. You deal with cast iron pipes, which have a 50-year life expectancy. So a lot of homes built in 1970, and especially in this area, are going through that right now.
So if it's 50 years, 2020, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of homes are. You saw there was a
good.
big channel that, our big story that News Channel 13 did on it, where a military buyer bought a house, home inspector did an inspection, and nobody caught it, and the pipes were going bad. And that's not, I don't say that I would be better than that agent did, but at the same time, I would have most definitely
Something you're more knowledgeable on.
Yeah, I would have been aware that, hey, this house is not...
has a higher risk factor.
Bigger risk factor, and that there's tall tale signs that you can see when the whole entire plumbing system hasn't been replaced.
Right.
So plumbing being one factor, cast iron, also galvanized pipes aren't good. Electrical wire, you have 1970, it was very, very common for a home to have aluminum wiring. Which, don't freak out if your house has aluminum wiring. It can be properly, managed, and it's not,
I've seen it before where they had to add an extra thing to the outlet.
Yeah, so it's all about the connections.
Right.
So anytime you have two different materials, they expand and contract at two different rates, and so you have to have something that mitigates that. And so I think it's dioxide. I'm not even going to try. I
have no idea. Yeah,
so
speaking another language already.
There's a chemical that's on the inside of the wire nuts.
Okay.
That basically, it helps alleviate some of that contrast and expansion and contraction.
So electrical can definitely be a little iffy.
Yeah,
I guess you can see that. From
aluminum wiring. You don't get that knowledge until you have the home inspection. But one of the big things is just two wire. So that's a big danger thing for a lot of people. It's an ungrounded outlet. And I
hear that all the time.
Yeah, a lot of times, if the flipper is honest, or the people are doing an honest renovation and they don't feel like converting the wire, they'll put a new outlet, but it will be an updated 2-prong outlet. So you can obviously see, hey, there's no ground there. It's only 2 prongs. What some people that do that flip houses is they'll try and deceive the buyer, and they'll put a 3-prong outlet, and they can just jump the hot wire and to the ground, and once they jump that wire, it's going to go ahead and show as, hey, this has got a ground to it.
Right.
So that is not a true ground.
I see that show up in home inspections.
Yeah,
all
and
the
a
time.
lot of times a home inspector will be able to pick that out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't see it unless you actually take the outlet cover off. But again, if you avoid homes prior to 1980, you won't have any of those issues.
Now, something I also hear a lot in home inspections is the Quest piping. Tell me about that, because usually, I guess, it's a big red flag for home inspectors when they see it. Yeah,
I would say it's a big red flag for anybody. One thing I will say too, though, is if you have a Quest pipe and it's in your house right now, currently, and it's not leaking, it's probably not going to be a huge issue. Now, Quest piping has been a headache for home inspectors and contractors, or all around, for pretty much since its conception.
Now, what years is Quest piping? Because I know there's specific time frames.
So they had it in testing in the 80s, but really you primarily see it in homes from the very, very late 80s, and you say like 88, 89, even up to like 94. So it's kind of 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Now, one of the big things that you got to remember is there's 3 phases of Quest. The first 2 phases were terrible. Just the chemical components with the material just were not durable, and also the storage of the material. A lot of storage jars were leaving them outside in direct sunlight, and that also didn't do it any favors. So, keeping in mind that Quest, if it's in your house now, it's probably the 3rd phase. Being that it's the 3rd phase, it's probably not going to cause any major issues.
So if it's not leaking, it's okay.
Yeah, I don't want to say
if it starts leaking, then
that's the next thing I was going to say is when you do have Quest piping and you're going to run into issues, it will be at the connections. So where the fittings are is where your problems are going to be.
Gotcha.
And that's not because the pipe is bulletproof, but that's just because again, you're testing the elasticity of that connective. Once you clamp that fitting on there, that's when you really see how much give that pipe has.
Gotcha.
And so, the
something
pipe
a normal buyer would never know at all. I mean, this is all I mean, I've definitely heard a lot before, but a lot of that is brand new to me, and I've been in real estate for a good while now.
Yeah, and it's always this is not information that I'm a guru and I go and read home improvement books and study every night. This is just
past experience.
Yeah, past experiences being in the contracting world for those 4 or 5 years, and then also YouTube is a great resource. I don't claim to know everything by a long shot, so
I learned how to play the piano on YouTube. So
yeah, YouTube is a great resource.
YouTube helps out quite a bit.
Now, YouTube University.
Yes, as long as you can teach yourself. So, what would you say when someone is going to buy a house and it needs some updates? What would you say is the best investment they can do to the house to get the most return on money?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I see a lot of people that spend money in their house, and let's just say for illustration purposes, and this is coming from somebody that has a real estate perspective and also a construction background. Let's say we have a house that's worth $100,000.
Sure.
How do you get that number? Because every house in the neighborhood is selling for $100,000.
The comps.
Right.
Got it.
That's how we're getting that number. So we have a house that's worth $100,000, and you go and you put a $25,000 kitchen into it. Right. Well, now, hey, my house is worth $125,000. Unfortunately, that's not how it works.
That's how a lot of people think.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
So when you have a question like, "Hey, what's the best renovation I can do for investment and return?" There's not a one size fits all for the question. And I would always say consult with not only a contractor so that you get an accurate price. Us real estate agents, we know pricing on things, and especially me because I'm in it every day. But going to the actual person that's going to be swinging that hammer and doing that job and seeing what they're going to charge is going to be better than taking my word for it or going on Google and getting a rough estimate.
Now, if you had to update anywhere, the best spots, where would it be?
Yeah, so of course, you always hear kitchen and bathrooms, and that's still true. Kitchen and bathrooms is what people generally spend the most time in. Unless you're a kid or you got a bunch of roommates, you're not spending a ton of time in your room.
Do you like my food? Yeah.
Yeah, so prepping kitchen, prepping food, hanging out in the kitchen around family gatherings, and then also that downtime that you spend in the bathroom. And of course, the guest bathroom is nice, but the master bathroom is the big ticket item that people really like to have checked off when they're looking for a new house. So I would say, master bathroom and then also kitchen are the two best bang for your buck.
Now, with that, we'll separate it into two sections. What would you say an estimated cost to fix up a kitchen would be?
Yeah, so let's just say a light facelift on a kitchen. So you're just saying, let's say, paint the cabinets, change the hardware, and do the countertops.
Okay.
Throw in an appliance package as well. Anywhere from $4 to $6 grand, right?
That's pretty nice.
Yeah. And that's a facelift though.
Right.
But you're not going to have soft close cabinets. You're not going to have shaker cabinets. You're not going to have the sink underneath where it's been rotting away for 15 years replaced. So the new cabinets and the brand new kitchen is really what a majority of people are looking for, and that is not as cost efficient.
Okay, so we're talking about replacing cabinets.
Yeah, so replacing cabinets, maybe moving something around, like where the fridge was or what side the dishwasher was on.
Right.
In a full kitchen renovation, would average, let's say, around $150 a square foot, which is going to be in between $20,000 and $25,000. Yeah, it adds up.
Dang.
Kitchen cabinets are expensive. Countertops are expensive. Plumbing upgrades, appliance packages, under the cabinet lighting, backsplash. You want to do flooring, can lighting. So, and that's
a lot, yeah.
Not even to get into
doesn't even talk about backsplash or super nice appliances.
Yeah, or toe kick lighting, or speakers that you could get. The TV appliance that will add double what an appliance package would cost. Now your refrigerator just costs that.
So a facelift right around $6 grand. A super nice one redone to be about 20.
Yeah, 20, 25.
And then let's just say if you did a mix in between the two, probably 10 to 15.
Yeah, and I wouldn't recommend a mix. A lot of times with the mix, you're gonna feel like a mix. You're gonna feel like you're half in and half out, and you're like, wow, I spent that much money, and it still kind of reminds me of my old kitchen. So I think if you're in that position, just wait, really. Unless it's something that's...
Unless you got a good deal on a house and you're like, hey, if we put in this kitchen, then it should really...
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something, too, that in an ideal situation, you have that house that's in that neighborhood that's selling for $100,000, and you purchase that house for $75,000, and now you get to do the kitchen, and guess what? That $25,000 you spent on the kitchen, you can look forward to, netting some of that back at the sale.
For sure.
Where if you purchase at $100,000, that's just not an opportunity.
Right, and then people try to list at $125,000 and wondering why they're not getting offers.
Yeah, that's
now,
a different day.
With a bathroom, and we're going to talk specifically about the master bathroom because a guest is a lot smaller. The master bathroom, what would a facelift look like, and then what would a nice redone bathroom be done?
Yeah, so I think a facelift is kind of tough in a master bathroom just because you really have, I would say break it down into three major components. You have your what's either going to be your tub or your shower.
Yep.
And then also your vanity and then your flooring.
Yes.
Right. And you can't there's not a cost efficient facelift on either one of those. No matter what, you're pretty much, unless you're just going to paint your vanity, that's about the biggest facelift that you could do. And of course you can change the light fixtures and paint the walls too. But if you're actually talking about doing a remodel, you're committed. So
yeah, I mean you got to gut everything at that point.
Yeah, you're committed. So when you're going into a full bathroom remodel, especially for a larger master bath, I would plan for in between $12,000 and $15,000.
Okay.
Now that you can add on costs with heated floors.
Hey, I love those tile heated floors.
Yeah, the heated floors are awesome.
Yeah.
If you want a tiled shower, right? So a lot of people are like, "Oh, I love the tiled shower." Those are on an added cost. Most contractors are going to give you a flat cost that's included a fiberglass shower. Yeah. Which is what you get with most builders. Right. So that adds cost. The glass door adds cost. The Bluetooth speaker that is also a bath.
It's all the little things you don't think about, man.
Yeah. So those costs can
like if you wanted a shower niche or like shelving in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh
so
my gosh.
yeah, just the
or
shower.
even the shower heads too. Like it's all the little
the plumbing. If you want it to come from the ceiling.
I guess if you made like an itemized list, like if I just say bathroom, it's like okay, bathroom should be like $10,000, right? Yeah. But then you actually start itemizing it, and it's like, oh my god, there's like 40 items on this list.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in the bathrooms, I've seen people spend easily $25,000-$30,000 in a bathroom.
I've seen people spend ridiculous amount in the bathroom.
And they're happy about it. Me personally, I couldn't sleep at night if I spent that much in a bathroom.
Me neither.
Not yet.
I'm not gonna spend $30,000-$40,000 on a bathroom.
I'll spend $30,000-$40,000 on anything right now.
Oh my gosh. So we've talked a lot about resale. What would be your thoughts between new construction and resale? Because new construction, you can kind of start out with that stuff and you don't have to do these renovations, which I know some people just want to go directly in.
Yeah. So
they don't have to be worried about a house flipper if they cut those corners like behind the walls that you don't see.
Well, you said it. So there's no question about it. If you can afford and you're comfortable living in the area that the new construction is taking place in, and those are the biggest two factors that I see not lining up as a real estate agent. One, people can't afford it and they want something that's very nice and that's new. And then two, they're not willing to make the sacrifice to go live in the area that new construction is being built. Because surprise, surprise, there's not a lot of new constructions that are popping up in Virginia Beach. Yeah. There's just not.
I mean, the land is so sparse. And definitely what I've seen is like the new construction that does pop up in Virginia Beach, just far more expensive than the ones like just say in Yorktown or Suffolk or even Moya.
Yeah, absolutely. For the same footprint can cost you $100,000.
Yeah, it's just a different location. Me personally, I love Virginia Beach over that stuff.
Yeah, I am more of an entertainment kind of guy, so I spend some time at home, but at the same time, I spend more time around with my friends out in town. Yeah. And that's where I think the most bang for my buck.
If they've got the money and they're willing to spend it.
Yeah, get back to your original question.
Yes, so then it's probably
absolutely. So if you have the money and you can afford it and it makes sense for you, and then as well as the location, then absolutely, always the new construction is going to be better. I hate to say it, but it just really is, and that's really an opinion. I don't want to say that's a fact. True. Now that's a very educated opinion, and there's a lot of experience that goes into that. And the experience mostly just revolves around the one fact that you just don't know how people treat and maintain
That's the tough part, is when you're buying resale and you have no idea how people have been treating it for the last, just say 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's always scared me is I know whenever I'm at an inspection, I could almost always expect, if it's got a crawl space, that crawl space is going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Almost 90, 95%
Yeah,
of the time.
absolutely. That's why our contracts have that 1% in for moisture. And a lot of the moisture damage comes in the crawl space.
Yeah.
And,
it's almost always something.
you know, people, some people maintain their houses wonderfully.
Yeah.
And some people try to, and they don't, and then some people just don't care. Life happens.
Oh man, my favorite thing to think about is the one seller we went across in Norfolk the one time.
I'm not gonna say his name.
Yeah, we can't say his name, but this guy, he would do every project himself, and he
reminded me of like he reminded me of a Bernie Sanders do-it-yourselfer.
Oh my god,
he had to be at least 75.
What did he do? Like, he was an environmental something. I want to say it's something with surveys, or like he would test the soil, or
he did water
something
and
like
soil
that.
testing.
Right.
Norfolk.
And then when we went there, this guy was doing the roofing by himself, was doing the flooring by himself, the drywall,
plumbing repairs, and
everything.
The do
no construction background at all.
Shout out to the do-it-yourselfers.
Yes,
I'm a do-it-yourselfer myself.
Yes,
but I do know when to call the flag.
Oh my gosh.
I know when to call my shots, and then also I know when something doesn't look right.
Yep.
So if I've tried and it doesn't look right, or it didn't turn out, I'm not afraid to call a professional.
I'm all about having that, like, call someone else to do it, because, like, I remember when we were looking at that roof, we're like, oh my god, this guy is just...
Yeah, so his back patio, as an agent, I wouldn't feel comfortable letting, like, kids, like, if I had a client that had kids, they should not have been running around that back patio.
No.
It was unsafe.
And the problem is, a lot of it, too, is stuff a normal buyer wouldn't see.
No, absolutely
So
not.
Someone who's been around construction, with my dad who's been in painting, and I noticed that the tiny stuff with drywall, but then you stuff with the construction... oh my gosh, this place was just filled with every little thing you think of.
I wonder if that house is sold.
It did sell. I looked it up.
What did it sell for?
It sold for $215. Right, for what he wanted. But the thing is, I don't know what if there was any closing cost assistance or whatever, but I am very, very concerned for that family who's moving in there.
Good job for the selling agent.
Yeah, good. Whoever sold it, kudos to you, because that place needed so much work. It was nuts. But yeah, it's stuff like that that's scary. Is like the house flippers that you can't see behind the wall.
Well, they
so
purposely hide things. I think that's the most intimidating thing.
Yes,
is there are people in our area that will go through a house and strictly have one thing, and that's profit in mind.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, a lot of things like safety and workmanship and accountability go by the wayside.
It's scary.
It's a tough trade-off.
Yeah.
And the person that's left with a short stick is always the buyer.
Yeah, always. And then the real estate agent is getting phone calls. So definitely get the home warranty, because it'll save you there. But and then you've got the do-it-yourselfers, who not everyone knows construction like Paul does, who can actually do it himself. I mean, if you guys have seen Paul's house recently, which we're going to have to do a video on, because it is so cool. Some of the stuff you added, like the toe kicker lights, the lighting in the living room.
Yeah, it's a fun house. I had a lot of good help.
Or even the lighting on the under the cabinets that goes with the music of a beat.
Yes.
Dude, that is some cool stuff. I don't even know where you start to find that stuff, or where to install it. Or I was there yesterday, and he showed me. He's like, yeah, I just installed this light in my garage. And I'm looking at it like, you put that outlet in, you put this in here. I'm like, God, I would have no idea where to start.
Yeah. And I don't recommend for you to just start going on YouTube and ripping open your panels, installing outlets, and
no way. Dude, I was so nervous to even just replace a light outside. Like, I was going to shock myself.
Yeah.
I'm terrified of that stuff.
But with proper instruction, guidance, and a little bit of YouTube University, man.
I mean, shoot, even you, I remember when you messed up your hand from the dishwasher.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So, you won't be able to see it in the video.
God,
I still have a good scar from it.
Yeah, check that out. Oh my God.
That's that little triangle.
Dude, you had a giant gash there.
Yeah, so it's a funny story, man. This is a good story for anybody that is doing anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be construction. But what I was doing is I was got a new appliance package for a client, and they were putting the house on the market, and so I had agreed to put in the appliances for them. I would say, hey, I'm a little handy. You guys are in a pinch. We'll go ahead and get it done. So I was in there installing it, and because I have some experience, I felt confident enough to be able to hook up the dishwasher with power on. Right? Oh,
gosh.
So, not the best idea. It's a tight spot you're working in anyways. So you're underneath the dishwasher. That's where the junction box is. So it's already tight and it's already kind of low and it's dimly lit. So, disclaimer, it was a bad idea to start with. But it was late at night, 7 o'clock, dinner was already cold.
Oh my God.
I was trying to get home. So instead of taking the extra 2 minutes to go to the outside to the breaker box and figure out what light it was, what panel it was, and shut it off and go through that, I just said, okay, I'm just going to install it. And I'm getting through it. I got the wire stripped down. And I'm going to slide it into the box now, right? And so when you're sliding into the box, you lose sight of the end of the wires for a second. So I was smart, at least what I thought I was, and I had screwed a little tiny wire nut onto the end of the hot wire, pushed it through, right? And as I pushed it through, the wire nut popped off. So first one, I pulled my hand back real quick, right? I kind of got tagged. It was just a little bit of woogie boogie, and not enough to make me go outside and change.
I would have been done at that point. Oh my God.
So I'm like, damn, I was so close. I
can't believe you went going.
I'll scoot on a little bit farther this time, and I know exactly the white one's already through. I got to push the black through. The ground's already in, so I'm going to thread the black back through. Black's in, right? And as soon as it's in, I go to grab it on the opposite side of that wall. And again, the wire nut had popped off. So again, poor judgment from the start.
Zapped you at that point?
Yeah. So I got tagged really good at that point. And it wasn't the shock that got me. Yeah. It was the reaction to the shock.
Right.
And so as soon as I felt that shock, I whipped my hand back, right? And so the dishwasher's got the stainless steel face that's very pretty and it's nice and it's sleek, right? Well, they have to have that fastened somehow. So what they do is they take that sheet of stainless steel and they fold it underneath at the bottom. So there's a folded edge underneath of every dishwasher that is just very, very sharp. If you have kids and they're running around, definitely something I would consider maybe getting some protection for. Because again,
no idea. But
after I made that connection with the wire, I pulled my hand back and that dishwasher had its way. And so my hand was then open. The dishwasher was still not installed. And there was a white kitchen.
Oh my God, man!
Yeah, it looked like a horror movie.
It did, dude. I remember seeing it on the next day, just seeing the gash.
There was blood all over. I just remember watching the blood down the sink. Oh my God! There's so much blood, and I couldn't believe how much the water was thinning out the blood.
Yeah,
and I was like, wow, I cannot believe I'm losing this much blood. And I have to clean it up.
Oh my God!
So I cleaned it up. Yeah, I cleaned it up. Put something on my hand, like paper towel, and just did some electrical tape over it.
If you guys saw this, you'd be cringing like I am because it was bad.
It was
just
gross.
Very, very bad. So I guess moral of the story is.
So the moral of the story is absolutely take your time.
Yeah, take your time or hire someone.
Shut the power off. Yeah, go shut the power off.
Oh my God.
Go, do step 2. Don't just skip straight to step 5.
Right.
Do step 2.
I guess someone like me, I always skip the instructions too.
Yeah.
So
people are, a lot of people get tattoos and things to remind them. And meaningful things. And dude, as soon as that happened and I realized how gnarly of a scar that was going to be, I was like, I will forever.
Yeah, it's a good remembrance.
I will forever remember.
Shut the power off.
Yeah, dude, just take your time, man.
Oh
go
man,
get the right tool.
That's a gnarly tattoo for that.
Yeah, I got a couple more of them. I wish that was like the last time that I had learned that lesson, but
hire a professional.
Yeah,
Paul, he's basically there. He's got a lot of good learning lessons under his belt. But
I got a lot of experience. Absolutely.
Yeah. So the cool part about Paul again is since he's got all this experience, he can share it with his buyers, which definitely makes him stand out from the rest. When you guys are walking through homes. It is a completely different experience than just a normal real estate agent who only knows sales and is trying to sell you on the house. Paul knows the sales side because I taught him personally, but also the mechanical side, which I'm learning from Paul every day. So it's so cool. I mean, even little stuff where back there you can see my TV, and Paul, I didn't even know how to hang a TV. And I had Paul come and teach me that little stuff. Yeah,
It does look good.
Yeah, right? So it's all the cool stuff like that. So if you are to get a good real estate agent, you know, sales is always great because they can help you sell a house, right? But someone who helps understand the mechanical side to it, honestly, I feel like there's just so much more of a safety net that with that knowledge.
Yeah, it just helps with, it really helps with just general risk assessment. When you're going into a house, it's not just always about the purchase price.
Yeah.
And having somebody to assess that risk up front with you is always going to be a little bit more of a benefit than to wait for a home
by far, man, by far. Especially if you get stuff in there before the home inspection in the contract. But yeah, Paul, you're a stud, dude. You're gonna keep growing, and hopefully I see a builder Paul in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
man.
dude. So thanks for being on here, man.
Absolutely, I appreciate you having me here, dude. And
yeah, man,
we'll make some things
we're gonna
happen.
crush it.
Yeah.
So thank you all. Be on the lookout for the next video, and hope everyone stays safe in this whole coronavirus mess. I think we're not 6 feet apart, but it's okay.
This is May 8th, by the way. This is May 8th.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.